Okay, so as traditionally with thinkBIM events of recent years, we've opened with a digital news update. So this digital news update actually covers the 6 months since our last event, as we didn't meet in December. Did wonder about an extended edition, the editor's cut or something, but have got it down to a reasonable number of slides for probably the more important bits, and the wider aspect of various things that have been going on in the last 6 months in the sort of digital market for construction. So first up, article from BIM Today from a while ago now, a partnership to reimagine BIM in house building. So this is a combination of Open BIM specialist XBIM and a property logbook company called Chimney. And I think the interesting bit, which is why I thought it was useful here, was the last bullet point, as it says, in terms of ways of examining to turn the construction data created during house building to be useful to homeowners' information and services. So very much thinking about the end user in mind and what information they might want, which could be very limited compared to the amount that's been created during the design and construction, but what is pertinent to them for using their house, living in their house. Next up, we have a 4D maturity matrix. The 4D construction group has been going for several years now, focusing very much specifically on that 4D process. That isn't necessarily using videos, but just as much people using it for individual photos or just planning out the works to make sure that by using digital processes they can improve the process overall or drive out risks and improve health and safety outcomes. They've created this maturity matrix, which is available on their website, and gives you an idea of various things to think about or ideas moving forward that you might want to do in terms of technical, procedural or personal development around 4D processes. Next, hopefully you've all saw the announcement in, I'm going to guess, September last year, I think it was, that we had Transforming Infrastructure Performance, the Roadmap to 2030, published by the Infrastructure and Projects Authority. It's a fairly easy read, yet again, fortunately for a government document rather than a weighty tome, and has also 5 useful infographics around the 5 key focus areas. You can see those focus areas listed down on the slide here, and again there is mention of digital processes peppered throughout this document. Next up, we move up to Glasgow and an article from Future Scot, the Scottish Futures Trust newsletter. And this talks about how Glasgow City Council is opening up online resources to the people of Glasgow. As it says here, a new open data hub offering a view on how Glasgow operates and aims to develop the city's digital economy. So again, seeing the value in having open accessible data that people can then build on or use to gain further insights for the people of the city of Glasgow. So a good project there. Now we come to digital technology to keep vegetation off railway lines. So Network Rail obviously is plagued year on year with leaves on the line and all the issues associated with that. And so went to Atkins to develop a piece of software solution that helps them to understand actually how to manage vegetation around the rail network and to ensure that they don't have issues with it encroaching on the line. So they took LiDAR scan data that Network Rail already collects, so that's light detection and ranging data, and created a solution, a tool here using the various envelope areas as to whether it was close to the line, adjacent to the line, or actually impinging on the railway line to help Network Rail actually manage the process. So it means that they aren't going to have people working on the line doing inspections, so it improves health and safety, but also it helps them to manage that and keep the railway lines operating more consistently. Next up, the Centre for Digital Built Britain, which actually will formally cease to function as of tomorrow. Its period of work has ended, has created this navigation database tool. There is a lot of work, a lot of studies, a lot of publications and reports that CDBB has generated during its time. And so very wisely, they've created something called a knowledge-based navigator to help you to find your way around all the reports and outputs that they've developed over the years. So again, something to make the data more accessible. Next up, this is work with the Construction Innovation Hub, who provided some guidance now on energy and emissions reporting to link to soft landings. So they've created something called the Energy and Carbon Reporting Framework to allow projects to do that analysis and provide a digital representation of the project around energies and emissions. Next up, we move to Florida and predictive motorway maintenance. So again, we have a company here called Probit, who's working with an engineering firm called Tetra Tech, and they are looking at what they call asset investment management. So they have a large amount of motorways, highways, expressways, as they call it in the States. They're collecting a lot of data about those, but they're looking to gain insights to understand actually how they can predict what maintenance needs to be done and how to do the best maintenance possible given the budgets they have. I have to say, and it's not very often that we do this, but seeing as Trimble still sponsor this event, I also have to plug that Trimble also has some software that does it. But end of sales pitch, and we'll move swiftly on. To HS2, again, big organization producing lots of data, trying out lots of new things. And so they have created a website for their learning legacy. So they've shared lots of information here. It's got it's split into 3 areas, as it says on the slide here, in terms of the latest resources that have been added, events that they are running to help share knowledge and best practice. And then there are 15 theme areas around which include one around digital data and information management specifically, to allow people to drill down into certain areas to understand what the learnings that HS2 have got that they are sharing elsewhere. Could I just ask everybody to mute if they are on the call, please, as somebody's still enjoying their lunch, I fear. Thank you. Next up, Atkins has been appointed by the Geospatial Commission along with the Ordnance Survey and a data management leader called OneSpatial to create a UK-wide digital map of underground utilities. So this has already started. There's been trial work done in London and the northeast of England, and it is now being rolled out over a 3-year programme to build this digital map of the entire network, and then I hopefully maintain that network of information, as it says here, in terms of part of the government's Build Back Better agenda and to speed up the delivery of housing and infrastructure projects. And I presume also massive health and safety benefits as well for people who are charged with actually excavating our highways. Next one we have is an app that's been developed by Morgan Sindall to help social housing upkeep. So they have a property services business that looks at managing social housing. And so they've looked at ways of connecting with various Internet of Things sensors so that they can provide real-time data about housing and to start to build predictive maintenance repairs into the program as well. So the app can identify water leaks in real time, as it says here, spot when boilers need servicing and various other problems that might escalate to make sure that they don't become an issue for the tenants. Back to HS2 now, and this is a trial by Bouygues and McAlpines, this time using artificial intelligence tools. This is a software solution called Alice, and they have been using this to actually sequence the works on the Bouygues McAlpine section of HS2. So they've been looking at different options for different ways of sequencing the works, when to bring in more resources, to move resources. And they found that by using this tool that they've been very successful in driving benefits for the programme. And as it says in the bottom point as well, not only does it help them to actually come up with the best solution, but it makes the solution making process much quicker as well. Next up, GCHQ has launched a cybersecurity guide. So part of GCHQ is the National Cyber Security Centre, the NCSC, and they've published some more security guidance for construction businesses. So this isn't around physical security of assets. This is cybersecurity for data and protecting your business from hackers and other forms of issues that might come along for your business. So the guide, which was launched with the CIOB, offers practical guidance for construction organisations who are unfortunately seen to be very strong targets for hackers these days. Next up, this was an article in BIM Plus that was reporting from a recent Lang O'Rourke business conference that they held for their staff. And interesting again that here their head of health and safety for Europe, a guy called George Mosey, was saying that large numbers of people in the industry still don't know how to use the tools, and that is not their fault, it's the industry's collective fault. So very much looking at digital natives and how they can help businesses to digitize with understanding technology, being more familiar with it, but also actually helping everybody within a business to become more familiar and competent and comfortable using digital solutions, because it will ultimately help businesses overall. Back up to Scotland now, and this is a tool that's been created, or a toolkit I should say, that's been created by the Scottish Construction Leadership Forum as a guide to help Scottish construction small and medium enterprises to get help going into digital. So providing them with lots of useful information and places to go, opportunities and people to talk to help them to understand actually how they can improve their digital skills and where they can also go to find funding for that support. And then final one in terms of digital news update, we have the latest publication from the Government and Industry Interoperability Group. Now, those of you that have been around this sphere for a long time may remember that there was the BIM Interoperability Expert Group, which was funded by BEIS, one of the government departments. I would say about 12 months ago that this moved across then to the CPNI, the Centre for Protection for National Infrastructure, and became rebranded as the Government and Industry Interoperability Group. Despite that being a bit of a mouthful, it's a very important group because it is dealing with interoperable information, an issue that has plagued or bedeviled the industry for many, many years. There are solutions, there are ways that it can be addressed, but being consistent and getting those solutions at scale still seems to be an issue. The GIIG group is now looking at 6 particular streams here, as it says: specification, procurement, delivery, assurance, storage, presentation and exploitation of asset information. But in order for people to understand the conversations that are going on, they've produced this glossary guide that's available to download from the CPNI website. So that ends the digital update. The next section of our event, we will be talking briefly about an update from the UK BIM Alliance. thinkBIM is obviously the home of the UK BIM Alliance in Yorkshire and Humber. And so what I've got here is a few slides that celebrate the work that the Alliance has been doing over the last 12 months through 2021. So despite all the pressures on the world that were going on, the UK BIM Alliance still managed to deliver quite a lot of events over the course of 2021. As you can see a list here, there's 38 virtual events. There was the 4 Alliance forums over the course of the year. There were online conferences around facilities and asset management and infrastructure. We had a digital manufacturing theme set day with presentations and workshops at UK Construction Week, and also presented at various other key events across the year, whether it was C2BIM Gathering, Digital Construction Summit or Digital Construction Week. A lot of this is done through work of various parts of the Alliance. And so again, as a reminder for all the bits and pieces that the Alliance touches upon, we have the affiliates, which is the programme to bring together the professional bodies and trade associations in the UK to give a common message around digital adoption. Hopefully for everybody will see a membership or see an organisation that they are members of, and I would certainly recommend that you lobby those organisations to make sure that they are linking up properly with the UK BIM Alliance and delivering that consistent message to their members, or a very much specific message from the generality of digital transformation that is appropriate to their membership. The regions, of which obviously thinkBIM in Yorkshire and Humber is one, that's been an interesting time with COVID. Not everyone has managed to be running events, but we're very pleased that we have managed to continue on with that, along with the east of England, Kent, and the south of England, who also managed to put events on. So hopefully, as we move forward and life gets slightly more, I was going to say normal, whatever the right phrase is for that, we'll see more events happening across the UK, whether you're local to us in Yorkshire or elsewhere in the UK and beyond. Another key part of the engagement process is the communities and the BIM4 groups. So again, during 2021, there was a long list of groups that continued to be active across a variety of events and activities and meetings, and delivering, again, specific advice and help and support in certain areas for certain trade groups, certain interest areas, certain sectors. And none of this is possible without the support of the UK BIM Alliance patrons, and so it's worth just recording up here. This is an image of all of our current patrons for the UK BIM Alliance, who support the Alliance to ensure that it's able to deliver the work that it does.